Hello, thank you for joining me today. It's been a long time. I just had a few days at home and I thought I'd just quickly do a little video about September, the remainder of the days of September. We've still got quite a long way to go before September 2023 ends. And the reason why I thought I'd just do this, A, because I have time, and B, because, wow, everything is about Leo currently. So let's have a little look and see what's going on. I'm not completely, what do you call it? I'm not completely ready for everything. But yeah, as I was looking, I'm going to go back so you can just see, like, if I go back to today, which is the 7th. Okay, so although I will do this for, all the ascendants, but I just wanted you to just see what the focus is very much on Leo. So wherever Leo is in your chart, it's really good to give it some energy, because Jupiter and Rahu are actually aspecting, as is Saturn, and they're both retrograde in the sense that there is like some work to be done behind the scenes, not just in those, so wherever that sign is, like Aries and also Capricorn, you're going back and redoing some things, maybe thinking about, whatever area of your life that kind of sign represents, and how you can go back and just finalize certain things. And so obviously in the sign also we have Mercury retrograde again, more to do, and because obviously all these planets are retrograde, so they are reflecting and reviewing and reassessing everything, and they all have an influence on Leo. Sun, the ruler of the sign, is also there till a little bit like middle of the month, so it's an important time. And not only that, we have Venus from one side and Mars on the other side hemming the sign as well. So there are things to wonder about, and Leo in itself is all about creativity, children, and expressing yourself. Is highly artistic. So it's if you think the third house is how you express yourself, etc., three houses from the third house is your fifth house. So it's extreme creativity. It's all those talents that one can express, and it's all forms of things like film and photography, education, academic education. It's teaching, being a teacher, being an advisor, consultant, and singing, playing instruments, writing. Everything can be embraced within Leo. Leo is also where we like to have some form of, if you like, it's the palace. It's so for example, somebody who has fourth house, which will be like a Taurus ascendant, fourth house is Leo. So they like to have a home. That's very important. They like to have a fixed abode, because obviously this sign is a fixed sign, and it's also because it's ruled by the king. They want to feel at ease at home. They'll probably spend quite a lot of time at home. So all those kind of things are very important. Look at your fourth house, whatever ascendant you are, and just spend some time thinking about it. Mars has already been in Leo. Venus was in there and retrograded back into Cancer. So there's a lot going on regarding this sign. So, and also the new moon will occur in this sign. So lots of things going on about Leo. Okay, so I'm just going to stop this and just carry on with the ascendants. Thank you. Hello, this video is for Scorpio Ascendant or Scorpio Moon for September 2023, the remainder of the month. So I hope you're all keeping well. In the UK, the weather is amazing. We actually got summer now. It's fantastic. Okay, so let's start. Obviously, just going to go through Mars, your first house ruler, and sixth house ruler is in the 11th house. So it's very much for you. If you do competitive sport, this is an amazing time to gain a lot of recognition for your efforts and energy. So that's where your energy is going into, gains, into creating like groups, networks, sporting events, that kind of thing. And it could create some little bit of discord between you and your elder sibling as well, or maybe some people within your networks. But generally speaking, you know, it's it could also be that you were doing some health stuff with your friends, doing some obstacle courses, going hiking, etc., that kind of thing too. And Mars from there is also aspecting your second house, so you wants you to put lots of effort into your savings, money, family, etc. And also is aspecting what would be your fifth house of romance and relationship, children, speculations, things like that, academic education. But I would probably say having fun as well, you know, because fifth house is very much about like having fun, partying, enjoying life. It's also aspecting Aries, sixth house, so it's very good for work, doing your sports, doing your good nutrition, fasting, that kind of thing, getting yourself really organized. You also have Jupiter, which is your second and fifth house ruler, in the sixth house. So Jupiter is very good at diffusing any arguments or discord that might be in your life. It's like can really diffuse things and see things from a higher perspective. Because Rahu is there. Rahu is good in the sixth house, but obviously Rahu is also what it does. It can actually kind of magnify things a little bit as well. So it's generally speaking, though, even if you might have gone through some difficulties in the sixth house, both planets will ease that as time goes by. And Rahu will only be there for another month or so. So it'll be end of October, it'll be leaving your sixth house. But during this time, Rahu has made you probably work really, really hard, has been very effective in dealing with the sixth house. So sixth house is a difficult house, and having Rahu there really kind of makes you, although it's at the beginning is because Rahu is what we don't know, so it's just like trying to show you and learn how to deal with those discords and disagreements, or maybe some health issue, whatever, you know, doing things fast and causing an accident, etc. But overall, it can actually sweep things and make them quite smooth. And Jupiter obviously gives that grace as well. With the fifth house ruler being in the sixth house, we have to be really careful not to be too micromanaging our children. So we, you know, like allow them to breathe and be, or even our partners as well, because it's second house stuff, or husband, because it's husband material. It's also like, for example, because Jupiter is there, it's also aspecting the second house. It's protecting your family, protecting your money, and you're really sort of good for your values, etc. Rahu is also aspecting that, so they could both bring quite a lot of because it's fifth house ruler aspect in the second house, so it can be really amazing for in terms of values, choices, etc. So the choices could be slightly different because Rahu is having an impact on your fourth or second house as well. And also what happens, Rahu is co-owner of your fourth house, is aspecting, you know, sitting there with your fifth house ruler. So fourth and fifth house, they do create this situation where, you know, you could be thinking about like family and, you know, that kind of things, and overcoming any issues with your mum, with your family, etc., smoothing things over. But definitely your second house is being protected. And then we have both of the planets, Rahu and Jupiter, aspecting what would be your 10th house, which is really good for work. It gives you lots of wisdom and etc. too, and you know, being of service to others, really working hard, but really seeing the bigger picture because of Jupiter having an impact on there. Now, Jupiter is also aspecting your 12th house, making you quite spiritual during this time, and makes you much more creative, brings out all your hidden talents, makes you much more restful. Ketu is there as well, makes you very spiritual too. So it's a nice time for those kind of things. And Ketu's obviously helped you end things that no longer served you. Rahu is in the sixth house, in the opposite thing, just like dealing with difficulties, and Ketu is helping you let go, and Jupiter is just making both easier. Now also Sun and Mercury are in your 10th house, so they're really good. Sun obviously has got directional strength, it's in own sign, which is fabulous, so really shining at work, people really noticing you as well. Mercury's combust a little bit, however, you know, it gets better as the month goes by and goes direct, which is much better too. And in your 9th house, you have 7th house ruler in the 9th house in an exchange with the 9th house ruler. So it's a lovely exchange, both creating fantastic Raj Yogas there. Venus being in a really soft sign of Cancer, your 9th house, is really lovely for your relationship, actually making a relationship that you're in concrete by making it contractual. So getting married, getting engaged, that kind of thing. You could also be going on a holiday, maybe even pilgrimage, studying, etc. Maybe you meet your partner while studying or traveling too. But certainly makes you feel good, because in both of the soft sign like Taurus and Cancer, you have very feminine planets in feminine signs. Really nice. And obviously, you know, your 6th house is having Jupiter, Rahu, Saturn's aspect in it, Mars's aspect in it too. So you know that you are really, you know, there's a lot going on with your 6th house. So you need to also just be aware of what you're eating, make sure you get plenty of sleep. And Rahu will help you get all those Ashwini is very much to do with herbal things, botanical stuff, Ayurvedic things. So really good to actually deal with that. Have a look at your moon, your natal moon, and just see what nakshatra it's in. And that will tell you the herb, tree, or bark that actually helps you with your healing. Really good. Okay, so let's just get on with the month now. So if we go to the 10th of the month. So on the 10th, we have Moon and Venus together. Moon obviously in own sign, 9th house rule in the 9th house, with the 7th house rule, and lovely Raj Yoga. Really nice, really enjoying being, you know, traveling, being with your parents, etc., being with your family, having a wonderful time together. And then Moon heads over to Leo and then forms what would be the next day. It's like coming up to pretty much the next day, end of the day, we have a new moon occurring in your 10th house. So it's all about your things to do with like work, how much money you earn through work, and any education or traveling you want to do. That kind of thing becomes very much the focus. Things that you want to change, all of these becoming your focus. You become into your awareness, things you want to work on, put energy into. Saturn also being your 3rd and 4th house ruler as well is there, kind of doing the same. Be cautious. Obviously, Sun, Saturn are opposite each other, and it can cause like stiffness in generally. It's not good for the bones. Both of them rule bones and teeth, so just be aware of them. And one of my family members has just had a fall and broken their hips. So yeah, just be really aware. Don't overwork yourself. Don't push yourself. When you feel you're tired, take time out and just be. And so it's just like a nice little balance there, you know. And because Saturn is also in your 4th house, you don't want to be too rigid at work, at home, you know, like, because Sun, you know, being in the 10th house, quite rigid and worky and quite, you know, focused. So having that directional strength. So you want to be like a little bit more easygoing at home, for that matter. You could also be thinking about moving during this period while Saturn is sitting in your 4th house, because it is your 3rd house ruler in the 10th house. And, you know, Saturn from there is also aspecting what would be your 6th house. So wants you to repair anything to do with the home, repair your car, do anything that needs updating or anything like that. if there's any discord between you and your siblings or your mom or your family, you know, just deal with those things. This is what Saturn is there for. It's also obviously aspecting your 10th house, wants you to be much more, not just hardworking, but much more like getting the respect that you deserve from work through being conscientious at work. It's also making you quite serious generally anyway, because it's aspecting your first house too. Makes one very responsible. Absolutely. Okay, so now after these, we have Moon join your Mars. So now we have 9 house ruler in the 11th house. So this is Moon and Mars, great for property, but it can make the mind overthink things, particularly in Mercury sign. Mars is just so fast anyway. So just remember that you're in control of your mind and your emotions, and you can just train them to just not overdo their thinking. They become too emotional. Just keep it grounded. And then we have Mercury goes direct on the 16th, and Sun goes into 17th and 18th. Sun goes into what would be Virgo, and that's Sun loves being in Virgo, and in the 11th house you're shining. You know, this is no longer the new moon, because the degrees are different now, and actually the moon is pretty much in Libra now. Moon loves being in the 12th house. You're getting very good intuition, getting psychic powers, and getting great downloads, feeling really it's a very I'd say it's really good for your imagination, your creativity to really kick in during this time. It's also a day to put your intentions out, so you can put those on a white piece of paper, blue ink, and write your gratitude for everything wonderful in your life, and then tell the universe in detail what you would like. Thank the universe and place it in the northwest of your property. Okay, then we have Moon going into your just wanted to say, actually, Sun and Mars are in your 11th house. So, you know, this is 2 fiery planets in the 11th house. So we need to be aware that we don't want to be arguing with our elder siblings or groups of friends. But on the positive side, you could be doing nice things with people that you work with as well. So it could be good. Go to like watch basketball games, etc., football games. Now, Moon goes into your first house, 9th house ruler in the first house, create a nice Raj Yoga there. And then Moon goes into 9th house ruler in the second house, creates a nice Dhan Yoga there for you. And for wealth and money. And then we have a situation where Moon is in the 3rd house, so you love to be communicating with siblings and friends and doing fun things, and Venus is in the opposite sign, so this is quite nice because you want to travel, do fun things really, and learn new stuff. And Moon is also aspecting Cancer and looking after Cancer. Moon and Saturn together. Moon is getting grounded by Saturn, where with Mars was overthinking. Now it's actually like constricting those things. Not a bad thing for, it's almost like get rid of all the just give yourself a bit of rest from technology, even though they're in Shatabisha. But generally speaking, it kind of makes the Moon settle, just be much more grounded. And the remedy to that would be Mercury, which is green. Go out and have a walk barefoot on the grass and just connect and ground yourself. And this is, now we have a situation where we have 11th house ruler is aspecting 10th house ruler. So work is important, gains and work and things like that are very, very important. Mercury in the 10th house, by the way, can do, and it literally makes you really, really multi-talented. You learn so many things, and you can just, all these little things you learn during this time at work. You could have been working in a place for a really long time, but what you learn with Mercury in the 10th house is amazing. Very multi-talented, and it's also in friendly sign, and there's an exchange between 10th and 11th house. So what you learn in, you're actually gaining from that as well. Okay, so now we head towards the end of the month, and actually we're coming up to what would be the full moon now. So the full moon for you is 11th and 5th house, which is lovely. So now we have like 9th house rule in the 5th house, creating a beautiful Raj Yoga, Dhan Yoga there. It's also aspect in 10th house ruler, which is another great thing too. But really, this is all about work and your groups, and also things that make you getting opportunities for those. 9th house is opportunities, and having that kind of optimism and knowledge and wisdom to be able to create things for yourself. So this is where everything is. Do I want to have children? Do I want to have investments? Do I want to start a new hobby? Do I want more romance in my life? And how do I find that? These are all the things that are very much the theme for you at this point for the next 2 weeks. And that's pretty much how we leave the month. So have a really good month, and thank you very much for watching. Thank you.